What's up, everybody? It's Brandon, Rodney, Tyler, and Josh, and we, of course, are back with another Zoom meeting as we continue to push forward with this because we could not all meet in person. So, again, bear with us. And we are going to jump into the very beginning of our huge Marvel fucking franchise rankings.
Fuck yeah.
And obviously discussing the movies. But so this is how this is going to work. We're going to do like it in each phase almost. What order are we doing this in? Like
We're doing
they came out in, but is it
chronological order? Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do it like 4 movies a piece until this thing's over, and we'll be doing it the last 2 weeks of every month until it's finished. So we'll have 4 movies this week, 4 movies next week, and then we'll pause for some regular movies. And then the last 2 weeks of the next following month, same thing again, rinse, repeat. And of course, we have Captain America, First Avenger, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Iron Man 2 to talk about this week. And like classic franchise talk, we will jump right in to Captain America, First Avenger, since that's the A1 day one, guys. Are we ready?
Wait a minute.
Tyler
It's
looks
Incredible
so
Hulk.
lost.
No, like you were cutting in and out. I didn't know if anyone else, if it was cutting in. And
I have
out
no
for the-
idea. I couldn't tell I was cutting in and out, but that's probably because I was the one cutting in and out.
Yeah.
And for some
All
reason,
right, we're
Tyler's like fucking like Count Dracula at the end of his cape. You know that shit. What is it called when you flip it up? It was like just shaking like this the whole time. I don't know if you were doing your knee or something. But yeah, all right, go ahead with the plot, guys. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
All right. Plot. It is 1941 and the world is in the throes of war. Steve Rogers wants to do his part and join America's armed forces, but the military rejects him because of his small stature. Finally, Steve gets his chance when he is accepted into an experimental program that turns him into a super soldier called Captain America. Forces with Bucky Barnes and Peggy Carter, Captain America leads the fight against the Nazi-backed Hydra organization.
We're liking that, right?
Yeah,
It sounds good to me.
It sounds like a plute you'd watch.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
First, this movie came out in 2011. The runtime's 2 hours and 4 minutes. You want to take a guess on what the budget is, anybody?
No.
130.
280.
280. What? No.
I can't go that high this early. I'm gonna go 150.
Now you and Rodney were close. 140, right in the middle, and it made 370.5 million. So
It's hard to believe this started just 11 years ago, at least for me. I don't know if y'all have a different opinion, like where you're like, man, I feel like this shit just started and we're already here. But for me, maybe it's because like I didn't start off enjoying these movies and I experienced fatigue fast, whereas I became, a pretty good fan later, not a huge fan, but I kind of like, I'm just like, wow, like 11 years. Wow.
So
it was actually before that.
it started in 2008 with Iron Man.
Iron Man. My bad. I blanked because this is the first movie we're doing. Yeah, it started with Iron Man and then Hulk. But
14.
yeah. Still though, fucking 14 years doesn't seem, for me. I don't know if it seems longer or shorter for you guys.
It seems longer because I've been watching them since they were coming out. So I feel.
Yeah, I remember Iron Man came out. I was there, watched it, and I've been so happy since.
Yep. Same.
Club.
All right.
Rodney, awards and noms?
There are no awards or nominations for this movie. Which, you really, this isn't a movie you would, especially in that time, 2011, these kind of movies were not going to be, Oscar contenders, really. So,
no.
Unfortunately, no awards for Captain America, the First Avenger.
See, when you look at these, you'd be looking at just like Oscar shit. Because I know like a week ago, we were like, actually, it won this,
Well,
like Kids' Choice Award, maybe?
Like, I do mainly Oscars, but I also do Cannes Festival. Like if they won a Cannes Festival award or a BAFTA award. So but it didn't get any of those.
Yeah, that
But
would
like, there's
suck.
certain-
You're just like, I am not including awards outside of that because you should be including every award. But
well,
I got you.
I mean, you're talking like Kids' Choice Awards and shit. Like,
Yeah, that goes to every bit of it. If it shows up, if you can't find it, then it is what it is. But yeah. Okay, daughter. I don't know if y'all could hear that.
I could hear it.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
about to say this mic kicks ass. So like, you can't even hear that there. Yeah, you have to ignore my grandma and grandpa. Actually, it's my daughter's grandma and grandpa. Okay, yeah, okay, yes. All right, guys. So nobody's surprised at the awards and noms.
No,
No,
no.
me neither. I wouldn't be surprised if it won something somewhere though, like unexpected type of shit. Like, I mean, they expect to be good, but like they expect to be this good. I mean, would you say 300 million in return?
Yeah.
That's crazy. When you have a movie
So-
that's 130 million and it doubles its budget, over doubles its budget, that's pretty crazy. Good shit.
The awards that it's saying it won:
Oh, so there is awards, you
the
bastard.
Movie Guide Awards, the Faith and Freedom Award. It won that.
Nice. What the hell's that?
Exactly. And the Scream Awards, it won the Scream Award for Superhero.
Cool.
No idea. And the Visual Effects Society Awards, Outstanding Composing in a Feature Motion Picture, the VES Award won that. So, I mean, but these are, I mean, I don't even think those are on TV. Like those awards, like they don't even.
Maybe we should just announce Academy Awards.
I think it should be Academy, BAFTA, and Cannes.
And Razzies for sure.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think those even come up on here.
Sweet. Okay. All right.
Make
I'm
it
gonna jump into my category after I fucking exit out of this and hit love it because they just popped me up the 40-minute message, even though it hasn't been 40 minutes. So we're gonna jump into what is y'all's favorite character in this movie? Starting with Josh. Who you got?
I mean, Chris Evans, Captain America. I mean, he's my favorite Avenger, period. So obviously my choice. So yeah.
Nice. What you got, Tyler?
Yeah, I agree with Josh, Captain America. And also, I like Tommy Lee Jones in this movie.
Yes.
But Captain America's your favorite. What you got, Rodney?
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't, to me, this is not a fully developed Captain America, and I get it's an origin story. He's not my favorite character in this. Now, down the
Neither.
line, maybe we'll see. But I'm honestly mixed because, like Tyler
You look
said,
white,
dude,
so it's weird.
Tommy Lee Jones, dude, was awesome in this. Like he wasn't overdoing it. He wasn't like phoning it in or anything. Like this is an Academy Award winning actor that, you know, just he put his shit into this movie. And him and Carter, I
Who's
really
that scene?
like Carter. So
Yeah, for me, it is Colonel Phillips. It is Tommy Lee Jones. I'm a little biased towards this too, because he's like in my top 10 favorite actors ever. I love everything he does. And even when, like what you said was perfect, like he's not overdoing it, he's not delivering his best performance ever. But even when he's just chill like this, whereas other actors would come off stale and kind of boring,
yeah,
he just feels so fucking natural. And he's perfect in this movie. I love this movie so much more because of that. Whether I love the movie or not remains, to be seen, but it elevates the score for sure that he is in this flick. He is great in this movie. What about favorite scene? And we'll keep going down that same, list we went down. Not list, but order we went down. Josh, what you got? Favorite scene? And I also, spoiler alert, if y'all didn't get this in the messenger, I just went ahead and told y'all rather than putting you on the spot. We also have favorite action sequence that we're going to do after this. And it doesn't have to be separated, but I'd prefer if we could pull off separating favorite scene from action sequence. That way we got more, a mix.
that's easy.
And action sequences aren't everything Marvel. There usually is, at least like a really funny moment that stands out or even a serious moment. But yeah. What you got, Josh?
My favorite scene would be towards the end where they're infiltrating that final Hydra base and America's driving his motorcycle through the woods. Something about that shot, I just fucking love that shot of him riding through the woods. I think that's dope.
Beautiful, for sure.
Uh, I mean, I'll go on and go and say that this might be cheating a little bit, but any scene with Steve Rogers and what's the doctor's name? At the beginning, I can't remember his name.
That's
but
his
the
name.
moments between them two were my favorite moments in this movie.
Erskine,
yeah. Erskine or Erskine, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, him and Captain America's back and forth. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really solid.
Sweet.
One of my favorite scenes is at the beginning when they take little Steve Rogers and basically mutate him into this ginormous alpha male. I was like, how dope that would be in real life if they could do that to people.
The pain, though, I don't think most would stick it out, but that is Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I like how he they wanted to stop, but he was like, no, keep going, because he wants to be a soldier so bad.
And something I saw on that, Tyler, was when he came out, Agent Carter, when she like touches his chest or whatever, that was all improvised because she was really like blown away by acting.
Oh
my God, Jacked in America is what we're calling it. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you got your favorite scene?
Oh, I didn't have one. I don't like this movie.
Perfect.
So we're gonna move on to action sequence. No, dude, honestly, like this movie is a weird one for me, and I won't go into deep detail here. I like the very ending. I won't say how much I like it till the very end, but like after like the midway point, I don't like it as much. I like the beginning and the build up a whole fucking lot, and then the very ending. And so I find myself liking most of the stuff that's in the beginning of the movie the most because the story and everything, how it plays out is so good. But for me, I really love when he dives on that grenade. I think that is just like such a special moment because of how much he is doubted. And it's all about like his size and all that. And of course, we didn't see him get blimped up into Jacked in America yet. But in that moment, it was just the way he won everybody over. And even though, you know, of course, Tommy Lee Jones being a fucking hard ass, kind of just like, okay, whatever. But like you could even see on his face, like, all right, well, maybe we got something here. Just for him to show that type of just not ability, but the fact that he's willing to risk his life at any moment and to just really kind of in the moment prove people wrong. Like, just like, it doesn't matter how big I am. I'm going to be the first one at every moment to save my fucking team. That moment has always stood out to me. And given what the character was going through, those moments already stand out to you, but it stands out even more given the character and where he was at in that present time. And I really enjoy that scene. So then we will move on to favorite action sequences, and we'll go in order like we didn't do last time, but the original order of Josh, action sequence. What you got for us, dog?
It's gonna play off of what my favorite scene was, him riding the bike through the woods. So that once he actually gets to the Hydra base, that captured, and then he's on his knees in front of the Red Skull. He's about to kill him, but then his squad comes crashing through the window, and that whole right there would be my
awesome scene for sure.
I like that scene at the very end. Well, the whole plane scene where he breaks into that plane, and like the graphics or the CGI on that was pretty amazing. And it lasted about like 10-15 minutes, that whole scene. It just kept me intrigued the whole time.
No doubt.
I definitely had to say the breakout scene of his fellow soldiers that got kidnapped. I think that scene was dope. Like they all come out with the Tesseract guns and start shooting their own shit. I really enjoy that.
Nice.
And then when they walk back into the camp or whatever, and he's got like the whole squad behind him as they roll into the
rolling a beat.
Like 400 deep.
Oh yeah, they was real deep. Yeah, dude. For me, actually, my favorite action scene probably isn't necessarily a popular one. Is the one where you first like really get to see him thrown into action, and he's all jacked up and shit. where he's going after the one dude, and he's not even in the Captain America outfit yet. And it almost kind of plays out as like a James Bond type style scene to me for some reason. It kind of gives me that vibes where he escapes. He throws that one kid in like the river, and the kid's even like, "It's okay, I can swim." And then he goes after the dude again, ends up like underwater with him as he's trying to escape. And he just pulls him back out of the water and throws him back up on the deck. And he like has a whatever poison or whatever in his tooth.
Capsule.
Yeah, bites into that. Like that whole scene, like I don't like I love James Bond, and for some reason that scene kind of gives me like James Bond vibes. I don't know why I feel like Daniel Craig is like chasing, this guy almost, or whatever your Bond villain would be. It's kind of got that type of feel to me. And again, I guess it's just that first time, just like the first time you see him jump on the grenade and you're like, oh shit, like he's proving people wrong. In this moment, it's like the first time you're like, damn, like look what he can be capable of when he's like on top of the car getting swished around, about to fall off. It really set the tone for me. And that scene being the first one was a little more impactful for me overall. I really enjoyed that scene.
Something I caught, which I should have caught.
Did you catch
Is
your
that
cake?
is
Or
that
do we not move on to
Iron
that?
Man? Is that Iron Man's dad? That's
Yeah.
in this movie. That's his dad.
Howard
Okay.
Stark.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I
Okay,
couldn't
that's what
answer you. I
thought.
was taking a drag, but I was shaking my head yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure. I thought so, but in
Pretty cool
Iron
shit.
Man, it's a completely different person. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. Okay. Moving on.
That's where these movies get more rewarding if you aren't a big fan and you watch them from scratch. Like you catch all those other little things and
Yeah.
cameos that really make them stand out. Titties.
Nah, there's no titties.
I got a feeling this will be a familiar thing, but
Long.
No tits. I'm sorry.
bullshit. Crap, dude. All right. What about location and what have you?
So this is mainly shot in the United Kingdom and Los Angeles, but then they also shot a little bit in New York when you get like Times Square.
Yeah.
But then it is actually taking place across the United States, especially when Steve Rogers is on his campaign before he actually goes to war. But then most of it's taking place in New York, and then we get over in Europe when they're actually fighting the war, so like Germany and Austria in that area of the Nazis.
Hell yeah. That's fucking awesome, man. Best unimportant scene. God, I really try to rack my brain for these, but every once in a while I just can't find one. And when I say unimportant scene, I don't mean like it could be like the most important movie ever. I just mean a scene that like most people probably won't talk about, but here's my scene. Or sometimes I mix it up with like maybe this wasn't that important, but I'll throw it in. But in this one, for some reason, like I was looking for it, but I didn't really have a certain scene that stood out to me that's like that's cool to me, but other people might not have thought about it, or like that wasn't important then but might be important now. I didn't really have that in this movie per se. Did y'all have like an unimportant scene that stood out to y'all for some reason?
Not really. There wasn't anything in here where I was like, oh shit, that like that. Yeah, no. I
Or
don't
a
really have-
scene that stands out to you, of course, is what this is, that other people might not have even cared about at all. That's the biggest thing. What are you saying, Josh?
I didn't plan to talk about this at all, but and it might be, I guess it is a little more important, but the fact that Captain America, like a side effect to him taking that serum, is he can't get drunk.
Yeah, see, now that's
Oh
cool.
yeah.
That'd
I
be a
didn't know
good
that.
one to add. I didn't think of putting that one in there. But yeah, that would definitely fit the bill.
His metabolism is like 5 times higher or something like that. So he literally can never be drunk again.
Yeah, we like our IPAs and stuff here, so it's worth talking about. Rodney, dumbest or cringiest moments?
There's a few. This movie's got a few of them. I don't know, man. I think that and me and Tyler kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but I don't mean to steal it. But that's the same scene where the Captain America going through, the stage rights and everything on the stage, acting like a theater goon or whatever. It's just, it's not who Captain America is, and I didn't feel it. I didn't like it.
I agree with that. It took me out of the movie a little bit.
Yeah, and it was way extended. Like I feel like maybe put about a minute of that shit in there, and we get the point. You
They
know,
could have left on the cutting room floor for sure.
yeah.
You can tell with Captain America, he looked frustrated that he had to keep doing that. Like he didn't want to be doing that. He wanted to be
Right.
out. David, he didn't want to be like a showman, just like, hey, look at me, look what we can create.
Which
Just
you could
kinda-
argue too that's kind of for the character in a way too. It shows you how about business he is, and this isn't him. So
Yeah.
you could definitely argue that.
Yeah, I think that was the point of keeping those scenes there, was to almost make you feel the pain of Captain America, because there is that one point where he's drawing and he drew himself as a circus monkey. Like that's how he was looking at himself when he really wanted to be out fighting.
Exactly.
Nice. Beautiful. What we got on the goofs portion, Tyler?
Now we're gonna do goofs.
Yeah, I hope so, because do you have them?
Yeah,
It's kind of like you're not ready.
No, I'm looking at it. There's a lot, but they're all like the same thing. They're all like,
You just pick. I think we should probably do that with goofs, unless they're like all amazing. We can extend it, but if it's like
No.
whatever, then just do like 3.
there's a couple good ones. I'm just saying, like, these people that make the goofs, they're like, this came out in 1941 when in reality it didn't come out until 1942. I'm like, get over it. Okay, this one says, if vibranium is vibration proof, the bullet striking it would make no ringing sound. So there's that. During World War II, if a soldier, sailor, marine did not come back from a mission, he was initially declared missing in action. Only later would he be listed as killed in action. Sometimes this occurred long after World War II ended. So Josh probably knew that.
Yeah, missing in action was actually not a term until Chuck Norris did his missing in action movies.
Yeah. Captain America lies on a bed in a recovery room. Initially, the sunlight from the window falls across his chest. They changed the camera angle, and his chest is in full shadow. So, yeah, I mean, you would think there'd be a ton of goofs in a movie like this, but they're all just, it's all about the time frame and stuff. They didn't quite get the what am I trying to say? The
Years and stuff, right?
yeah. But
I might have
that's
just
about it.
I might have just created a brand new Chuck Norris joke there without even meaning to. Just realized. Nice. All right. If that's all the goofs, deleted scenes, and I actually have some.
Oh yeah.
There's only like 4 on here, and none of them really stood out. And honestly, I wouldn't keep this in the movies. I don't think it's needed, but it's kind of cool to see afterwards. There is actually a deleted scene that shows how like Bucky gets captured in the movie, where like a tank rolls up and all this other shit. It was it was a pretty interesting scene, but like overall, I think it's better just leaving that more, to the mind. It kind of felt like it probably would have slowed down the pace a little bit, and you kind of get to see, everything the bad guys are capable of. You would have saw it a little bit earlier, so with their weapons and what have you. But that's the one that like you could definitely argue should have been in the movie, and would be kind of cool like if there was enough good extra scenes where if you made like a director's cut or something and that was in it, to watch that as like an alternative type of deal. But that was the best deleted scene I saw of the bunch personally. I don't know if y'all would like to have seen that in the movie or not, or if y'all have seen that deleted scene, but yeah. Y'all think something like that should have stayed? I don't know what the hell you just said. Sorry.
I think that scene is best left out because it keeps more of a mystery to Bucky, and we needed that mystery, and that's what made his character development through the movie so good. So I think it's better. It's a cool scene, but it's best left out of the cut.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. All right. If y'all ain't got nothing more to comment on that, we'll move into the did the ending deliver section. And I will say 100% yes. I definitely think this ending delivered. The action was there. I wasn't like in awe of it like some of the later MCU movies per se, but everything that went on, you know, where what Tyler was talking about, that whole sequence with him flying around and you know what he's got to do, and then like I got a date to catch, and the shit with Fury and fucking eating up them there after they were trying to fool him into thinking he was at like a certain time, but he was like, I was at this game, all that shit. And that final line, just like I had to date, all that was very
Yeah.
impactful and definitely fucking worth it. And this ending most definitely delivered to me. Josh, what'd you think? We'll pass
Yeah.
it around. I should have went last, but oh well, fuck it.
It absolutely delivered. Kind of going off what you were saying, you know, Steve Rogers willing to sacrifice himself and like crash that aircraft for the greater good of everybody. So he, you know, he doesn't kill all these hundreds of thousands of people, and knowing that he has to do it now because he's over the water if he waits any longer. So, you know, and him staying on the phone with Peggy the whole time, and, you know, they're talking about that dance, and she's like, don't you be late and all that. And then also some good, like a good callback is with him crashing this plane, like he's sacrificing himself. He can't expect to live through this, which is a callback to that grenade that Brandon mentioned earlier. Jumping on that grenade, you're not expecting to live through that. He didn't know that was a dummy grenade at that point. So like it kind of was a callback, even though he's this quote unquote superhero now, he's still willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good of everybody else. And I just think that that makes you love his character that much more if you weren't already in love with his character up to this point. And then, yeah, the whole room, like them putting him in that room, trying to make him think he's still in his time, and then him breaking out. Yeah, I love the ending of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Josh. The ending was dope. How he broke out of that room and he's in, was it New York, like Times Square. And what was he asleep for like 70 years is what they said?
Yeah.
They
Jeez.
Austin Powers them.
Exactly. Yeah, the ending definitely delivered for me. This isn't my favorite Captain America movie, but this one, it was a good one. Yeah.
Now, was that like a writing flaw where he didn't do the Austin Powers thing and had to piss for like an hour, or he was just that much of a hero that he was like, I've got to get right back to business?
I think a little of both.
Yeah, could be. Rodney.
Yeah, I think the ending delivered. You know, it's the ending is satisfying because, like Josh was saying, like the character development of Steve Rogers, Captain America, like it's expected of him. You know, like this is something Steve Rogers would do, and yeah, I think the ending delivered. And then the ending where, like y'all were talking about him being in that room, I thought that was a nice touch on the ending of how Fury come to find Captain America. I think it was solid. I enjoyed the ending.
Another nice thing that y'all didn't say, I was gonna wait and see if y'all said it. Just such a simple touch, but I loved how like when he was talking on the phone with old girl, he like got cut off. It wasn't like he had a proper ending there. He was talking out of nowhere, just shut off, and she's like, you know, like, oh, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? That type of moment. I thought that was cool the way they did that.
Yes.
Personally, yes. Anyways, we got some trivia, Tyler.
Oh, I do trivia.
That's right. Tyler's been doing trivia the last couple of times. My bad.
All
I've been
good.
trying to dictate it around since we're doing the Zoom thing. I decided
I've been
killing
killing it. I've been killing it on trivia, so there's a lot of pressure for you, Josh.
All right. Well, so first question. So in the movie, he's referred to as Bucky Barnes, but that's not his real name in the movie. What is his name?
Barnes Bucky.
Sebastian Stan.
Nope.
I have no idea.
Sebastian Telfair.
James.
His name was James Buchanan.
Oh, that's right.
Do we know someone named James Buchanan?
No, they mention his name in the later movies, like his real name.
My
I'm
buddy,
talking about in real life.
No, James Foncannon.
Oh, that'd been so dope if it was the same person.
Yeah, it's probably who you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Good friend of the show. Great
Yeah.
guy.
All right, second question. What specific part of New York City is Steve Rogers from?
Queens.
Bronx or Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn.
Brandon, you got a guess?
I was thinking something like that too. I think Brooklyn sounds the most right, but I'm not even 100% sure. I'm piggybacking off of Rodney though.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, New York. All right, next question. It's going to be a fill in the blank question. So the doctor at the first recruiting station says that Steve's blank alone would disqualify him from military service.
Asthma.
Thighs.
It's either asthma or sinusitis or something.
For what?
The sinusitis.
Yeah.
It's asthma. It's
Yeah.
asthma. And then last question. Who is taller in real life? Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, or Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky Barnes?
Chris is tall. I'd say Chris Evans.
They're both about the same height, I feel like. I'm skipping ahead to another movie. I'm picturing like their fight in like Winter Soldier, and I'm thinking about how they looked comparable in there.
Chris Evans is about, I want to say 6'2", 6'3", but I feel like this is like a trick question, so I'm gonna say Bucky. I'm gonna go with Bucky.
So they are the same height.
Thought
They're
so.
both, but in filming it, they do a lot of camera angles to make Captain America look taller than Bucky Barnes, but they're actually
I'm gonna take credit for that because I actually didn't answer and said they look about the same height. I think I said something close to that. So
That makes sense.
but I was going off of how it was filmed, so I must have missed something. Yeah, they looked. Maybe they only did that in certain scenes and it escaped through other scenes. But yeah, they looked the same to me for some reason when I looked at them. I honestly couldn't answer.
that's it. On to you, Rodney.
So the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie is an 80% critic and a 75% audience. And IMDb is a 6.9.
Beautiful. Ish.
Good
Ish.
Lord.
All right. So anybody surprised by those scores?
No.
I thought IMDb would be a little higher. People just go to bat for these Marvel movies.
Oh, this just seems like
Not a lot. Like I'm thinking but like low sevens. Like even though it's like basically a 7, I just picture this movie with a 7 of some kind on IMDb.
I think because it was the first Captain America movie, they were kind of hesitant.
I expect it to be lower than the other ones, but yeah. All right. We got our personal scores, and we'll just keep with the rotation we've been doing. Josh, what you got?
I'm so intrigued by how we're going to score all these movies. I think it's going to be so.
I'm going to be so controversial. Just wait with this whole fucking, not this list, but in general. But we'll get there.
So I've seen this movie probably 10, 15 times. It's always been like a middle of the pack MCU movie for me. I've always been around the mid to high 7s with this, but for whatever reason, this viewing was my favorite viewing of it since. And I almost feel like every time I watch it, it gets better to me. But I'm going to give it a 8.2.
Nice. All right. Tyler, what do you got for it?
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Covering his face. Okay.
This is one of the low tier ones for me. I give it a 6.7, and I'm not. There might be a couple that are a little lower, but I'm not sure. But right now, this is the lowest one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the other Captain Americas so much more than this one, and then most other Avenger movies I like more than this one. This one, I don't know. It was too slow at the beginning. I guess I knew what was going to happen. It's still a solid movie. I mean, I don't think 6.7. I don't want to go too far into everything.
All right, Rodney.
Yeah, this movie has always been in the lower tier for me as well. I know my first viewing of it, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. But over the years, it's gotten a little bit better. But I can say this is my favorite viewing of it, just like Josh, because it's been a while since I've watched this one.
The critical eye y'all are putting on it, I guess.
I'll I'm settling with a 7.1. And yeah, I think there's some missed opportunities in it, but overall I enjoyed it more than I did this time. So 7.1.
Nice. Yeah, for me, it kind of goes back to what I was touching on. I love actually the earlier portions of the movie when they're building up towards everything. And then for me personally, like the action was good, but I think it kind of hurts it in a way when it comes to action scenes. These earlier ones, like they're not bad, but you see what MCU is capable of as it goes on further and further. And then the ending kind of bumped it up a little more again. But this isn't a great movie to me or even a really good movie to me, even though I feel like there's a lot of really good moments in there. I actually have the exact same score as Tyler, who disappeared. It is a 6.7 out of 10 to me. Nice. Where the fuck are you at, Tyler? Did Tyler actually leave, or is he like playing a game? I wasn't paying attention.
Probably went to the bathroom.
Nice. Okay. So that is Captain America, First Avenger. Not Tyler. Josh is there with the high score, and me and Tyler are tied with the lowest score there at 6.7.
I heard you had to go take a piss, but I heard you.
Beautiful. I just wanted you to hear me, man. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Tyler to hear me.
6.7.
Out of your chair right there. Tyler re-injures his back on camera. Like, God.
Dude, I don't have a chair. I'm sitting on my bed and
looked like you went like this, and I heard like a creak, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
I'm pulling my pillows and covers up to my back so I have some support. All right, that was Captain America, First Avenger.
You have our emotional support, though. Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna, of course, move on to Captain Marvel. Definitely not, I'd say, one of the more popular MCU movies. There's a lot of controversy that was floating around when this was coming out, for right or wrong reasons. So, what do we think of Captain Marvel, though? Almost like Captain America. We're gonna review the same movie again, actually. Get ready for that. What we got plot-wise?
All right. Captain Marvel is an extraterrestrial Kree warrior who finds herself caught in the middle of an intergalactic battle between her people and the Skrulls. Living on Earth in 95, she keeps having reoccurring memories of another life as U.S. Air Force pilot Carol Danvers. With help from Nick Fury, Captain Marvel tries to uncover the secrets of her past while harnessing her special superpowers to end the war with the evil Skrulls.
All right. Let me just say before y'all answer, this sounds like right the fuck up my alley if you remove the Captain Marvel tagline. Like, say it's like, you could say something as simple as Deborah. This girl Deborah had to go through all this. But it just sounds like something I would immediately buy that was like released by Scream Factory. It's like some 80s movie that's lower budget that was badass. I love the way this sounds. This is the type of movie, the plot line is right up my fucking alley. It sounds dope.
You replaced Captain Marvel with Jean-Claude Van Damme. This is Brandon's favorite movie.
Oh my God, sure, dude. No, Jean-Claude Van Damme, because it's a woman.
I think before we get into this, I think people are like hate on this movie just because they don't like Brie Larson. I've heard things like she's just a pain in the ass. She's like super cocky and all that. So
Dexter, okay.
Brie Larson, a phenomenal actress. Y'all need to watch it.
I'm just saying people just hate her.
Yeah, he's just speaking on the public. Fuck you, public. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. This movie's 2 hours, 3 minutes long. Came out in 2019. The budget, you want to guess the budget for this one?
Two
200 million. What'd you say,
265.
Josh?
265.
Josh, you gotta come down, bro.
170.
That's like Avengers type. That's 160. You know how much it
Nah.
grossed?
I
Blew
too-
my mind.
1.6 billion.
You
No,
gotta come
it's
down, Josh.
Captain Marvel was 1.2
200
or 3
million
billion.
again.
1.1 billion.
1.1 billion.
Jesus
God damn,
Christ.
I might get 1 point off each fucking answer.
I didn't
know.
expect it to be anywhere near that high. I thought
Me
people were
either.
like, because people were talking about like, I won't even go see this movie. They had 1 point.
They were trying to boycott
Yeah.
her for this shit, and then what happens? Everybody and their mother goes and sees.
That's
this
why I
thing.
went like super low. I was like, did it work? I guess it did not. Sucks to suck, nerds. All right. What about awards and noms, Rodney, if Tyler's done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Captain Marvel has no awards or nominations, and we're talking real like awards and nominations.
Beautiful.
There's some what's it called, beautiful scenes in this movie when it comes to like the space travel and shit.
Like it got awarded for that, or you're just saying?
No, I'm just saying like shit that could have maybe possibly been
Oh yeah.
awarded, you know.
That's like almost
Yeah.
every Marvel movie, though. There's always some just like breathtaking moments for sure. All right. So, who was everybody's favorite character in this movie? And we'll stick with the same rotation. Who you got, Josh?
My favorite character was the leader of the Skrulls. What was his name?
Mm.
Even when you're thinking he's a bad guy, for whatever reason, like he captured me and I liked him from the get-go. And then you find out he's not really that bad of a guy. He's more of like the good guy. And I just liked him even more from that point.
No, he's cool as shit. Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler's. I really like Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson in this one.
Nice. All right,
Nice.
Rodney.
So Coulson, come on now. Coulson, this is like young, like fresh off the boat Coulson. I love it. I love every scene he was in. And so Coulson for me.
Nice. I'm actually going to agree with Tyler. And that's crazy because like anything Samuel Jackson is in anymore, I was even talking about this the other day. I was like, just anything he's in, it just immediately feels cheap to me because it feels like he's phoning it in. And then when I watched this movie, I was like, oh, I forgot about this. I actually really like seeing a young Nick Fury in this movie. And I remember when this came out, because this was like the first time I'd seen that like de-age shit, and that like blew me away. I was like, what the fuck am I watching right now? This is fucking like not, Samuel Jackson that we're seeing now. This is Samuel L. Jackson, motherfucker. Put that L in there. Like he is legit in this movie. I think he gives a little bit more of a performance than he normally does. And to be more of a focal point, that is. In the other movies, for the most part, he has a scene here and there. And this one, he's like 1B to 1A for basically the runtime. And seeing him as a young Samuel Jackson, I think kind of helped that. And then at the time, seeing what they put in this movie to see that de-aging for the first time that I can remember the first time, I was definitely, it had to have been, because I remember when I saw this, I was really taken back by it. I was like, what the fuck did they pull off with this? Is this the new thing? We can watch everybody young now? And of course, Marvel's got the money, so they can make it look legit. Definitely Fury was my favorite character in this.
Yeah.
I say definitely. It was a toss-up between Brie Larson and Samuel Jackson, because I loved her too. But if it's a toss-up, I'm not going to go with the main character. I'm going to shine a little more light on someone else. So I'll do that for Sam Jackson here, especially since I've been hating on him lately. My computer's just like froze on Tyler's face right now. I hope it shows up like that. Anyways, favorite scene, guys. What you got, Josh?
So I'm gonna kind of cheat, kind of like Rodney did with the last one. My favorite scenes would be how they kind of, because before this movie comes out, we kind of know Nick Fury and Agent Coulson. So I liked how they flirted with things like with Nick Fury's eye patch, how you think, like you figure out how he gets his eye patch a couple times, and each time he kind of recovers, and you're like, well, fuck, towards the end of the movie, how'd he get it? And then the cat scratches him and you're like, there it is. And then also seeing like Agent Coulson, this essentially like his first movie timeline wise, with like him in the staircase and like letting them go or whatever instead of turning them in.
Nice. Tyler.
Yeah, I agree with Josh. I love the scene. Well, I got two scenes. Whenever she falls back to Earth and lands in the Blockbuster and gets out and goes talks to the cop, like, I need communication equipment, and he points her to a Radio Shack. I was like, that's so dope. And then the other scene with her and Samuel L. Jackson looking through that, I don't know where they're at. They're looking through all the hallways of files and stuff like that. And that's whenever Coulson lets him go. I just love those two scenes in particular.
Nice.
Ronnie?
Yeah, my favorite scene is the end of the movie when she flies straight up to Ronan's face, like, what's up? And then, he turns back and uses his space-time continuum to, portal out of there. I just was like, damn, yeah, she's a badass right here for sure. So, because Ronan, well, so yeah, that's my favorite scene.
Beautiful. For me is like when she just accepted who the fuck she was, the whole "my name is Carol" scene. I dug that. I love that. And I really like Brie Larson in this movie. I think she's the shit in this movie. So like when she finally came to and had that moment, even though it's been done a million times, I can't help it. I felt it. I was like, yeah, you're damn right, bitch. Your name is Carol. I was in it in that moment. I felt it. I dug it. That would be my favorite scene. What about favorite action sequence, guys? Josh?
So mine's going to be the fight towards the end of the movie where the Tesseract's supposed to be in the lunchbox, but it's actually not. And then she's fighting them and like the music comes on and you got that music overlay. That's going to be my favorite action scene.
Nice. Tyler?
Mine's whenever they capture her and she's upside down and she breaks through and she's fighting everyone barefoot and she can't get those things off her hands. They keep lighting up. And then she finally breaks through there. And then she just breaks a hole in the whole spacecraft and everyone like grabs on. She's like, what's going on? And then, yeah, I really like that fight scene.
Yeah, there was one or two good dogfight scenes in this that I enjoyed dealing with the planes. But I think when it comes to the action sequence, probably where she gets her powers, like when that nuclear or whatever it is like explodes and it's like slow motion and she's backing up and you can like see the energy, like her absorb all that energy. I thought that was dope. So
yeah, I'm gonna agree with Tyler again here. I definitely enjoy that first like battle on like that ship scene. I thought it was amazing. It started to really show too, like just really selling home like how much she was like into the role and like her chemistry and shit. Like I love when that one what do you call it? The scrolls came up and like screamed at her and she just like screamed back at it and fucked it up. I loved all that shit. That's definitely my favorite action sequence, I'll say. And she fights like that big one and she can't do shit at first, but then she like realizes she's got them things on her hands and she goes and blows them all to fucking kingdom come. I love that shit. And the one that fucking shoots her when she gets in that little whatever the fuck, what do you call that shit? It's like a mini spaceship inside of the spaceship, whatever you call that fucking thing. The escape. I was literally about to say that. Swear to God, I was gonna say escape pod. The little escape pod. She just fucking books out when she falls. All that shit. That's probably my favorite, battle sequence or action sequence for me personally. Tyler, any titties?
You know what? There actually are none. Sorry.
Yeah. Got my hopes up. I was like, what did I miss?
Brie Larson at the 44-minute mark.
She has some titties for sure too, though. Like those are some big macaroons.
But no, there's no tits in this one. Sorry.
Damn, man. All right. Location and what have you.
So the movie's mainly filmed in Los Angeles, but they also filmed a few scenes in Louisiana. And then as far as where the actual movie's taking place, I couldn't really find much on that.
Yes.
And yeah, space for sure. But as far as like states or anything, I couldn't really find much, and I didn't pay attention as the movie was going on, so I don't know if they actually said where it was.
I would assume like upstate somewhere. Like I don't know. I feel because with the land and everything, like maybe Virginia or something like that. I'm not sure.
So whatever Rodney said, think the opposite,
Yes. Yes.
because he's probably wrong. Or the few times he actually knows something, he lies on purpose. It's really weird. All right. So for me, I don't know about for y'all. Y'all can jump in on this too. Best unimportant scene. I actually have something on this one. It's kind of what Tyler said too. The fucking blockbuster, dude. For me, that was just huge to me. I mean, that's definitely there for a reason, but just that touches home to me since like my babysitter and like where I grew up was just like a video store. Video stores are crucial to me. And I love seeing the nostalgia. Like, and she could have crashed anywhere. For her to crash into that blockbuster and then being like the huge like 80s, 90s action fan that I am, watching her bust in there, and then she sees like Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies. She like blows the fucking head off of that. She like trips out, and then there's just all those fucking aisles like kind of hive back here of just like VHSs, and you see like Last Action Hero next to Lethal Weapon 3. That shit's like oddly goosebumps for me. I absolutely love that, and I don't think that's unimportant scene per se, but other people are kind of, oh, cool blockbuster. For me, I eat that shit up. I absolutely loved it. That would be my unimportant scene. Y'all have an unimportant scene for this movie?
I'll agree with you because
No, I got a cringy one.
We'll get to that.
That's Rodney. Rodney, do you have any cringy moments?
yeah, I do. But no, as far as like that unimportant shit, dude, like Blockbuster was my life. I fucking loved Blockbuster.
We're in a movie and a
The
game.
intensity of getting to Blockbuster and wondering if that new release movie, if they're going to have at least one copy.
Oh my God.
Tag. And if it was out, then you had to go up to the front and be like, have you had any returns of this movie?
Yeah.
And sometimes be like, yeah. And you'd be like, winner. And then they say no, and you just want to like, jump off a cliff.
Dude.
But, I love Blockbuster.
And then for kids these days that don't know if you're tuning in, like it legitimately, like you'd go in there and it would be fucking like 50 cases in a row if it was a big movie, and there would be just nothing behind it. You just hope it poked out a little bit. You could pull the movie behind it, and you're like, you'd walk in, you're like from a distance, like, I don't think there's anything behind that. You're like, oh fuck. And you're like, even like me, like I would fucking be like, I don't see anything, but I still want to check. Like I'd trip out that much. Or if you walk in and like the guy that was like just in front of you, like grabs the last one, and you're like walking up, you're like, please don't grab that. Please don't fucking grab that. He just fucking grabbed that. Okay, to the old horror section I go. I'm gonna grab something real quick. That was my rhythm. But yeah, tough breaks out there, man. What about that cringe though? What y'all got, Rodney, Tyler?
Oh, I've got a major cringe with this movie.
Nice.
I'm going to have to disagree 100% with you and Tyler. I hated Fury in this movie. I think they made him stupid. They made him childish. Now I will say, what you were saying, Brandon, the whole going back in time. The de-aging was incredible. It was very impressive. But as far as Nick Fury, that is not Nick Fury. I don't care. In the comics, he's not that way. In any of the other movies, he's not that way. He was a dumbass in this. Coulson was smarter than he was. And it just, the more it happened, the more it pissed me off. And unfortunately, he was like 90% of this movie.
Well, his character evolved too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Let me say, though, like if this was like, happening, like they shortcut it over here simultaneously, it'd be like, oh, what the fuck are they doing? But if it was like I think it's a good like joke to just be like, okay, Nick Fury at the end of the day, like he's legit, but like in a cop way, you know what I mean? Like he's not ready for this type of shit, obviously, because he wouldn't be. So he'd be a little more whimsical. But as he goes through more of the superhero shit, obviously he's gonna get more hardened and have more knowledge. It's like basically like a motherfucker at like the lowest ranked college ever, but he's the best there. But then by the end of it, he's at fucking Harvard and he's learned all the ins and outs, and that hardens him way more than it would any other person, any other type of field. So the believability actually is there for me, and it makes like a fun joke even more where they have like the flirking with the eye thing. Like it works for that reason. It couldn't be in like same time period, go over here. But for years upon years, going
Bless
back,
you.
I didn't know what that was at first. And then what he had to go through in this period of time. Like he didn't even like going into this, he's even like, oh, you're expecting me to believe that's like a shapeshifter. He had to go through so much. So obviously, like I love how it shifted. It's gonna shift to Josh's camera. There's like no way there. But legitimately, like it makes sense to me that he became this person later due to what he had to go through. And it was a fun spin on it after we had saw Fury the hard ass for so fucking long. I mean, he joked, but you know, you're talking about the Fury that you're talking about. I believe that he could be this guy, 100%.
What about you, Tyler? You had some cringe?
Yeah, that one scene where she breaks out and she's got those things on her wrist and she's fighting people, and I guess she turns and says something, and it was like the corniest line I've heard. I forgot what she said, but I was just like, oh, come on. That made me just like, that was lame as hell.
Your face is still stuck like that. You look at Ty, he's just like been like this the whole time. Like, you remember that when your fucking parents would tell you, don't look like that or don't do that face. You'll be stuck like that forever. That literally happened with Tyler when he face fucking wrenched up and cringed up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Goofies.
Okay. In Iron Man, Coulson keeps referring to SHIELD by its title, Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division, commenting that they are working on a new name when at the end they use SHIELD. In this movie, set before Iron Man, they both, him and Fury, use SHIELD instead of the real long name.
Wow,
this film takes place in June 1995. At the Blockbuster, they had a poster and a standee advertising Babe before its August theatrical release. So,
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Let's see. After catching up to Carol at the bar, Fury says that he got to watch an alien autopsy, as the root word auto means self, and autopsy refers to post-mortem surgically procedure performed on
Oh
no, Tyler, where'd you go?
Tyler's chunking out. What's happening? Is everybody else still with us? Rodney isn't talking.
I'm here.
Okay.
Rodney, that would.
I have no idea how to retrieve Tyler, so this could be very bad. It's like, you know, if it's like a comeback. Oh, Tyler's back. What were you saying on that last goof? Just start over.
You don't need to hear it.
Okay.
That bad. I was gonna say, I was like, one thing I have not experienced with is like other people in situations like, let me get him back. I don't know how to do that. So
yeah,
like,
it just
fall
kicked me
out,
off and told me
it's not gonna be
to
good.
log back in.
Yeah. Shit.
Okay, that's enough with the goofs.
All right. Deleted scenes. I have some for this too. Okay. So in the deleted scenes, I have a scene with Jude Law, who is meeting with Supreme Intelligence. Do you know who Supreme Intelligence is, guys?
No.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Unless I missed something, this is just a part of the deleted scenes. There is this character that is Supreme Intelligence, and it basically is like, I don't know if it's supposed to be God to them or whatever, but they meet with this character, and Supreme Intelligence is basically who you see as like a god or something. And of course, Jude Law sees like himself, but it's like with like white, cool hair, and he has like crazy eyes. and it's telling him what he is and isn't capable of and what he really needs to do. So for me, that will like, that's interesting kind of, but like I see why they left it out, but it was worth bringing up enough. And it's something I think they could have left in the movie. But the thing is, there was other deleted scenes that also went with Supreme Intelligence. So I'm guessing they just completely cut it out of the movie, and they're just like, all right, let's just ditch everything with this. But that scene in particular was like, okay, I wouldn't have hated it if it was in the movie. And then there's a alternate stolen bike scene where it's not just like, the guy's like, smile for me when she takes his bike and he goes inside. In this scene, I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. That's all I wrote. She did basically just like shook his hand and like brought him to his knees and was like, why don't you smile for me? And then walked away type of thing. I think like in theory, it would have been cool because even when I saw that, I was like, I almost wish you would have fucked him up. But like the way it was executed sounded cooler than actually was. So I'm glad they left it out. But it would have been cool to see, a different take on her actually just fucking up that dude on the bike that was a smart ass thing. And he was dealing with just some low level girl in his fucking eyes. But those were the deleted scenes that stood out the most to me here. But moving on from that, do any of those sound actually good? Do you think you would have liked either of those in the movie?
I think if they'd have left the Jude Law scene in there, they'd have had to that had to give them the window to introduce more of his backstory and his character, which would have been honestly unnecessary.
Longer runtime.
Yeah, it just
the intelligence thing is for everybody. That's like anybody meets with them. Like it was just Jude Law's meeting. So like fucking Captain Marvel can meet with I almost said Central Intelligence, but the intelligence thing, and she sees intelligence is something else. I was making sure you knew what I was saying. But yeah, I think overall it's good they cut it out personally. Yeah. Anybody else on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. All right. Now, did the ending deliver?
For me, yes, it delivered. I love seeing Captain Marvel when she gets like her full powers. She finally, is able to escape that patch or whatever that's on her neck. And then just seeing what she's actually capable of doing. Because she's been, like she even says in the movie, I've been fighting with, I think she said, I've been fighting with one hand tied behind my back this whole time.
I love that line.
And now like free. And then that glow that she has, like when she's flying, like that just hits different when she's got that glow around her. And then she goes and like stops all those warheads from like destroying the earth or whatever. And then just her flying, and she's like, she flies through their spaceship or whatever. And you can just tell she's like having fun. Like she's not even like trying really hard, and she's doing more than any other like superhero can do. And she's like learning what she can do with like all these powers. So yeah, I think the ending definitely delivered for me.
I'm going to agree with Josh. I loved when she put her powers on full display, showing that she is one of the most powerful Avengers out there. The movie, it definitely delivered. I know this movie gets hated on a lot, but it's going to be hard to find a Marvel movie where the ending doesn't deliver.
Yeah, I think it delivered. Because my favorite seeing her running up to Ronan or flying up to Ronan, and that was the ending. So the warheads was cool. Her glowing up was pretty solid, very kind of in tune with the comics. So yeah, I think the ending delivered.
For me, it was a mixed bag. Like I didn't dislike it or, overly like it either. It was fine for what it was, but it wasn't like Captain America where I felt like, damn, like that delivered. It was just kind of like, yeah, it was all right. The action was solid, but I've seen just as good, if not better, Marvel action at the end of these movies from a lot of the newer ones, which this one is not like the other ones. It kind of falls into that more, new style. So I kind of graded on those merits. And I think honestly, the ending kind of suffers from something that isn't really even the ending's fault. Is like this movie was amazing for most of the runtime to me. Like I thought it was just fucking dope. I thought it was amazing. And then like when she goes to meet the one black pilot girl, I forget her
Monica,
name.
or not
Yeah.
Monica, the daughter.
Yeah, that whole thing, it kind of slowed the movie down for me too much. Like that was like I was worthy and needed to be there, but I thought they spent too much time on it. It felt like the movie came to a complete halt to me. After a while, I was like, okay, let's get back into it. And I think it kind of hurt the ending for me having that. That's like the right before the ending. So like my like, going into the ending was kind of like, all right, let's get this ending. And then when it was just good, I was kind of disappointed by my own standards because like every time I watch this movie, I want to go into the ending feeling the way I did in the beginning. But that's why I can't give it a bad score or not bad score, a bad ending or a good ending. I just kind of like I'm right there. I middle out with it. I don't dislike it, don't love it. But yeah, it's a mixed bag for me on the ending portion. We got and trivia.
Okay. Got 3 questions. First one. How many cats did they have play Goose?
3.
7.
4.
4. The
Like I
cat's,
said, 4.
cat's names were Reggie, Gonzo, Archie, and Rizzo.
Nice.
They had 4 different cats. Next question. Many actresses were rumored to play Captain Marvel before Brie Larson was announced. Can you all name any of them?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
No.
Uh,
I've got
Alicia
4.
Vikander.
Who is that?
Alicia Vikander.
Nope.
Alexandria Daddario.
No.
Thing is, I feel like I knew this when it came out, but I
Yeah.
don't know it at all now.
One of the girls was in Game of Thrones.
Oh my god. Oh, what
Was
the?
it Sansa?
No, it's fucking. Ugh. What's her actress name?
So Natalie Dormer, who is actually in Captain America: The First Avenger. You got Emily Blunt,
Yeah.
Katie Sackhoff, and Rebecca Ferguson.
Katie Sackhoff
Was rumored to be playing Captain Marvel. Yeah,
that would have been weird.
I think they made. Then last question, which Brandon and Tyler, y'all have kind of been all over this, but when Captain Marvel arrives on Earth, she lands in a Blockbuster outlet and shoots a cardboard cutout of the film True Lies. What film did they want to have, but they couldn't get the rights to instead of True Lies?
This is a good one.
Predator.
Nope.
95 though.
Terminator 2.
I'll give you a hint. It kind of plays along with the scrolls.
Alien.
3. No, Resurrection is what it is.
Body Snatchers.
Give you one more hit. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Oh, The Mask.
The Mask. It was supposed to be the joke. She mistook it for like a scroll, so she shot it. But they couldn't get the rights to get the mask cleared or whatever. So
Yeah,
they
you said went along with the scrolls. I was like, so aliens for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Rodney, what you got for Rotten Tomatoes score?
Well, Rotten Tomatoes critically got a 79%, and audience was 45%.
Ooh.
And IMDb says 6.8. So
I think that's pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
yeah,
I-
me neither.
All right, we're moving on to personal scores.
Yeah, Josh, you're up.
Talk a little bit on this.
I don't know what you said. I don't understand the hate for this movie, really. I think I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. I've enjoyed it every single time I've watched it. I'm going to give it a 7.7.
Solid. I don't see all the hate in it as well. I give it a 7.3. first time I watched it, I liked it more than the second time. And this previous watch, I think I liked it a little bit less, but a 7.3 still is a very entertaining movie to me. I like Captain Marvel.
Yeah, didn't do it for me, especially this showing, this viewing. I actually didn't like it more than any other time. Yeah, this movie's like a 5.9 for me. So low tier Marvel for sure. And it's not because Bree's a phenomenal actress. I love Brie Larson, but she was really cheesy in this movie. Like some of the shit she would do and say just kind of, I didn't like it. And then Fury, of course, kind of took the movie on a downward spiral for me. So yeah, I'll sit with 5.9 on it.
All right, real quick, what did Josh and Tyler rate it?
I gave it a 7.7. Tyler gave it a 7.3.
Beautiful. So I'm gonna come in and give it the highest score at 7.8. I almost absolutely love this movie. Like I really think I like every time I watch it, I think it fools me. I'm like, damn, is this one of my favorite Marvel movies? But I really think there is something to that, like lull when she goes and meets with that one girl. They just drag it out for too long, and it kind of takes me out of the movie. It feels literally like we're there for 40 minutes, but it's probably like 20, if that. But yeah, that kind of hurts the movie for me, and then it kind of takes me out of the ending because then I've kind of lost all momentum. But it's still a really fucking good movie, and I think it's very underrated. I think Nick Fury is tons of fun. Brie Larson, very underrated, as like a Marvel superhero. She's probably one of my favorites. I think she's the shit. And I love the scrolls shit. And I love the flip flop. I normally don't like that when they flip flop who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. It was cool seeing Jude Law in a Marvel movie. And the scrolls, I ended up really liking them, even though they did what I normally don't like, but they pulled it off with the flip flop who's the bad guy, good guy situation. And the whole references like the 90s, the blockbuster, that's my fucking bread and butter. Even the fucking soundtrack, hearing Nirvana in this shit, Come As You Are, that was so fucking dope. Yeah, I'm all about this movie. Don't love it, but I highly, highly enjoy it. And I really want to say I love it, but I got to leave it a couple points off from a love at an 8. So we'll put it at 7.8.
Oh, yeah. I was going to add an additional point.
And
The
y'all
soundtrack,
open the next episode. I got pissed.
the soundtrack to Captain Marvel was pretty great. Now, not one of the best of Marvel, but it was pretty good. Okay. So we are done with Captain Marvel. Moving on.
On to Iron Man. I'll go ahead and read this plot.
You got it.
A billionaire and genius inventor, Tony Stark, is conducting weapons tests overseas. But terrorists kidnap him to force him to build a devastating weapon. Instead, he builds an armored suit and upends his captors. Returning to America, Stark refines the suit and uses it to combat crime and terrorism.
Yeah, I like it.
Runtime and stuff, Tyler.
All right, the runtime for this movie is 2 hours, 6 minutes. Came out in 2008. So this is the start of it all in theory. Budget 140 million, and it grossed 585 million worldwide. So did Rodney leave too?
That's beautiful. Where the fuck
so.
did Rodney go? Oh,
There.
Perfect.
We got awards, Rodney.
Wards and noms snuck up on us quick, didn't it? Is
Did
that
it?
Rodney? Yeah, there he is.
Yes.
Rodney, you're up, dude.
All right, here's the deal.
All right.
Iron Man actually nominated for 2 Oscars. Best visual effects and best sound.
Really?
Didn't win either. But it did win, or it was nominated for a BAFTA Film Award for Best Visual Effects. And the SAG Awards nominated it for Outstanding Performance by a Stunt Ensemble. So this movie actually, awards-wise, didn't do too bad. I mean, even though it didn't
So now
win
we're
any
doing extra awards, but we couldn't do that for Captain Marvel. What are you, sexist?
No, I said this was BAFTA and SAG. These
I
are
don't
those
know.
are too important.
I don't keep up with awards like that. I thought you were like, oh, let me go do a little extra digging for this stuff.
No. This one had a couple big nominations. So, which actually surprised me when I looked it up. I had no idea.
I think it's just because it's the first and you hadn't seen that type of shit necessarily yet. Whereas after this set the blueprint, it was like, okay, we've seen this before. But when you first saw this, these effects had to have been insane in the original one.
Right.
Nice. Who's everybody's favorite character?
Tony Stark. I think for me, that's pretty easy for this first one.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Tony Stark. I also really like Jeff Bridges.
Why does it look like you're playing a harmonica, Tyler?
I have one somewhere if I can find it.
It was really weird.
I think it's no, yeah, Jeff Bridges, but Tony Stark, you know, he steals the show. It's his movie, and it's
Yeah. Tony Stark, Iron Man, for sure. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was born to play
Dude,
Tony Stark.
no one else could do it.
No, I won't. If there's a new Iron Man like with that same title, I won't watch it. I just don't think anybody could live up to that.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it.
Hell yeah. So for me, yeah, Tony Stark. But I will say that's because that's something that holds this movie back for me. I don't really care about any of the other characters at all. But Tony Stark, he's good. I don't think he's quite great Tony Stark yet when he really gets in a rhythm, but he's solid as fuck. Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Tease.
No, sorry.
I just thought we were
don't
skipping
even
that.
have to. Yeah, we should just bring up tits if there are tits.
We're just gonna do boobs every time, just on the off chance that like you guys aren't gonna believe this. But if you pause it, I'm holding out hope. All right,
Pepper Potts shows her tits.
man. I'd like to see those pots for sure.
Yeah.
Location.
Next.
Are we just skipping over like favorite scenes and stuff?
Did we do that? I didn't even realize that.
didn't
Yeah, we
do-
are. We're done with that. That makes sense. That's why I was like, titties, what's going on?
I know you threw me off. I thought
Okay, yeah, but seriously, we're skipping that. I hate this movie. Just kidding. Favorite scene. What you
So-
got?
My favorite scene is the chase with the fighter jets that Iron Man has.
really. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, we're just
We're just
fucking
real
this up.
quiet, waiting for someone to say something.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'd been funny if you actually forgot your name. Like, oh, and I am next. There's another quiet spot. All right, Tyler.
I love when he's building the actual Iron Man suit back at Stark Industries, and just the process and all the funny shit that happens with too much on the flight stabilizers and all that stuff, and when he's going over all his $1 million cars, and he's just so cool about everything. He's like nothing bothers him. I like that one scene when the girl comes up to him and asks, he was like, people are comparing you to, who is it? The painter, like, people are comparing you to Leonardo da Vinci. And he's like, that's ridiculous. I don't paint. I was like, that's so funny. Just love Tony Stark.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rodney.
Favorite scene for me. It's kind of a tough one for me because that dogfight, the Jets and Tony Stark, that shit was dope. I love that scene, but fuck, I'll just say, I'll have to just say that is the dogfight scene. It's you get a real feel for like Tony Stark's, like, he's not just a man behind, like in the chair, like he can actually do all the things that he needs to do, and I like that. So yeah, I'd say that action sequence is probably my favorite scene.
Okay. So I have a feeling your action sequence is going to be the same as your scene.
Probably not.
Oh, Rodney's the one guy that can do that. He's strange like that. Like, I gave this a higher score, but this one's higher on my top 10 of the year. That's what he does. All right. Nothing makes sense about this guy. If y'all haven't noticed by now, for me is when Jeff Bridges basically is like torturing Tony and thinking he's like offing him. He's got him like on the couch. And, you know, he's taking that chest piece out, and Tony's just like bleeding out of his ear. Like that whole scene's pretty intense to me. I like that scene. It's fucked up. I dig it. That's my favorite scene.
My favorite action scene, gonna be right before the fighter jet scene when Iron Man flies to Golmeria to like save all those refugees or all those people. And then you get, I think, one of the most iconic like frames from the MCU when he's walking away and Iron Man's in like, I think the bottom right of the screen and that explosion's behind him and he's like walking in slow motion. I think that shot right there is absolutely sick.
Beautiful.
Yeah, for me, the end fight between Tony and Jeff Bridges, with his superior Iron Man suit, but he's no Tony. He don't know how to operate it the right way. Tony just, yeah.
The little towns. That's where he goes up in there and basically kills all of those mercenaries and everything. Like Iron Man kills, you know what I'm saying? Batman kills. They all kill. And it's just like this big thing. Like people are like, Batman don't kill or this person don't kill. It's like, dude, clear as day, Iron Man slaughtered these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like shooting them all in the head with that little those bullets from his shoulder and shit. Like, I don't know, that whole scene was
he
dope
hit
as
him
shit.
with the Red Dead Redemption slow-mo where he fucking all of them. And
Yes.
I agree with Rodney and Josh. That's the best fucking scene for sure, action sequence wise. I remember watching this movie, and this was back when like I wasn't a fan of MCU. I was actually bored out of my mind watching this whole movie. And then when he actually became Iron Man, I was so fucking into it. And that scene in particular was like, this is fucking dope. Even for me back then, not being an MCU fan. And it remains still fucking dope. It's fucking sick. That whole section of the movie scene was amazing for me. That would be my favorite action sequence as well. And Rodney did, in fact, switch it up. Strange, but all right. I think he just wanted 2 action sequences and he cheated, but all right, we'll let it go.
Here's the thing. I had my favorite scene and then I kind of lost myself and forgot my favorite scene. But honestly, for me, my favorite scene is going to be the cheeseburger sitting in front of the podium. That was my initial favorite scene, just because it shows like how much power Tony has. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna pop a squat real quick, eat a cheeseburger. Y'all sit down too. You know, y'all chill out. Let's hash this out.
So Rodney gets an extra scene, guys. He's more important than all of us. No, I'm just playing. I play that card for some reason. Hell yeah, dude. Boobs. Yeah, we already discussed that.
None.
Location on set of the movie, I believe Josh said we're just going to skip over the action scenes, was the town it took place in.
So the movie's filmed throughout California. I think it said like 22 different locations. Going to take place in the Middle East and then also in Malibu, California, which is where Tony's house is.
Isn't that a real house too, though?
I don't think so. I think I read something that it's not a real house. People think it is, but it's not.
Maybe it's based off of a real house or something. Oh, I thought I read something
Probably
like that.
Probably not. Maybe. I have no idea. I always love it how I'm like, man, Josh is really fucking up here. He needs to pick it up. And then we circle back around. It's like, nope, I was the one fucking up. So that's cool. I missed the whole section of what I was saying. All right. Best unimportant scene. And I didn't really have anything for this one necessarily. So I just basically was like, how cool would it be to have like that crib that fucking Tony has, dude? With,
I know.
Dude, it's just dope as fuck. It's just like on the side of like a fucking mountain of rock over the fucking ocean. I'm sure he jumps off of it because Tony's a badass. I'm sure he doesn't, but yeah.
That would actually terrify me, though. Actually, having a house like on stilts like that
Yeah, it would freak me
in
out.
especially in California with all the
All right.
earthquakes and stuff.
You're further exposing that I didn't have anything. It would also
Oh.
terrify me. No, legitimately though, it's so fucking cool though. Still,
It
like
is
all the
dope.
things inside of it. That's something that stood out to me. That's not necessarily a part of the movie, but anybody can really think that. Like that was just like wow. Like that is when you've made it. That is so sick. Cringy moments, dumbest moments. What you got, Rodney, and anybody else that wants to chime
Not-
in after Rodney's
Nada.
part?
Nothing. Zero zilch. I have no dumb or
Really?
cringy moments for this movie.
Perfect.
Nobody else. Okay.
Tyler?
Either. Did you have something or you say no, Josh? I thought you were like,
I was passing to Tyler with the goose.
gotcha.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. The suit that Tony built in Afghanistan is made a few millimeters thick iron or steel sheet. A few millimeters of steel sheet cannot stop bullets from assault rifles, AKs, and certainly not machine guns. So his suit, he would have actually died in that first suit if this was real.
We'll come with the facts here, guys. Strap in.
This is a good one. Tony's mustache alternates between a real mustache and a applied prosthetic throughout the film.
That's weird. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Of course, they didn't fuck it up. There's like this one 80s slasher movie. I'm trying to pinpoint which one it is. It literally is like the worst mustache in history. Like, dude just drew a Sharpie on it and they just went with it. So, not that noticeable, obviously.
When Stark is lying on the table and asking Pepper to remove the power cell from his chest, the prosthetic chest used for the effect is moving up and down to simulate his breathing. Tony's actual breathing is out of sync with that prosthetic chest. And you can actually see the color is different than his actual skin color in that scene too.
That was almost my favorite scene. And then like I was like, it's a toss up, but since I'm like a dark kind of guy and I like horror, let's go with the Bridges dealing with that scene. But yeah, good scene though overall.
I
So
got
calm
one more.
about it.
I got one more. When the tank shoots at Tony and he dodges the projectile, there is no explosion or sound of it hitting the wall, the ground, or anything behind him. So that tank shot is still going in the air. It hasn't
That's
hit
weird.
yet.
I'm surprised I didn't like pick up on that either. That's kind of strange.
But yeah, that's all the goofs. Those were a little bit better. So
Nice. Okay. Deleted scenes. There were actually deleted scenes for this movie, but I don't have one I can even recommend. There's actually like 11 deleted scenes in this movie, and they were fucking mainly not even deleted scenes. They were like alternate scenes, like or extended scenes, I should say, where they just put like an extra minute of other shit on it, and it was just like it's just not worth it. Like I mean, I could say something like I mean, like when Terrence Howard and when Tony Stark, of course, Robert Downey Jr. are all chilling in that plane, and he's like, okay, like we need to focus, we don't need to do all this. It extends where like they had them girls dancing in there, and then Terrence Howard like hooks up with one, and then he's like super depressed afterwards, like, oh my God, the morning's here already. And then they show like a fucking it shows like a full-on military, like they do their landing where they're walking with their guns and shit. It has like it's basically what like every scene was. It was just extended. There was one scene where Terrence Howard like crashes into Jeff Bridges like on the freeway and like knocks him away, and then like Tony hops in the car with him. That was extended to like to some degree. Like there's so many like weird like just it basically was just a bunch of scenes that were extended for the most part. It was just like I don't even think I can even really like I'm mentioning them, but I can't really put it on like I don't even think they're really interesting or work when you watch them. So like I didn't really have anything for this one because they really weren't worth putting in. They really nailed down like this shouldn't be in here, this shouldn't be in here. The movie would have been like 30 minutes longer, it felt like, with all these extended scenes they had that really weren't worth it. It would have bogged down the movie a whole lot more. Yeah, that would be the deleted scenes, guys. Did the ending deliver? And we'll save Tyler for last unless he gets back in time. Josh.
So I guess it's going to depend on how you're defining the ending. So for me, that final battle with Jeff Bridges, I'm going to say no. I was not a fan of that final battle.
Me neither.
As far as like Tony hanging on and like essentially looking like he's going to die there or whatever. And even Pepper Potts saying like, I can't push the button, like you'll die. She ends up pushing it, and like he comes away with like minor scratches and bruises and like his arm in a sling. So I didn't like all that. But if you're looking at the very end of the movie with like the press conference and when he says, I am Iron Man, I think that delivered through the roof. So I guess it's going to depend on how you're defining the ending.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go. I'm going to say I'm mixed on it, and it's for the exact same reasons Josh just said, like every single layer. I mean, sure, there's good moments, but you want a great climactic battle. And the fact that that didn't deliver on any frame of the imagination for me, and especially going back on these older movies, like I said, like you just see what the MCU is capable of. I think a lot of those battles, for the most part, don't age as well. They're good, but you know what you can get later on. And I thought it could have been a lot better. So yeah, I agree with Josh completely here. Rodney.
It's kind of weird because I'm actually in your all's boat as well. I think the ending of this movie, I think the fight between Obadiah and Iron Man was underwhelming, to say the least. I expected more, didn't get that, but dude, like that ending where he says I am Iron Man doesn't go by the postcards, like that is truly Tony Stark to a T. Like that's like that was the perfect ending for the first Iron Man. So I'd have to probably agree with Brandon on I'm mixed because I mean the ending isn't great, but the ending is amazing. So
you gotta include all those things in for sure. And Tyler, you're gonna go, but if you missed it, I think wasn't that your favorite scene, like their battle? And all of us were like, it kind of sucked.
I just like all the big battle scenes. It wasn't the best battle scene.
It didn't suck. It was just not as good as what we'd hope.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody said that. But yeah.
What part are we on? Are we on if the ending delivered?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what Rodney said. The whole I am Iron Man at the end. And I think that was improv. I think that wasn't supposed to be his line, but he said it and they kept it in the movie.
They're just like, fuck it. We'll reveal it's Iron Man because we love the delivery. That'd be fucked up.
And it seems like a Tony Stark thing to say, like, I am Iron Man. Yeah, definitely.
He is the guy that would say that for sure. He's just like, I'm not waiting around.
It definitely delivered.
What are you eating there, buddy?
String.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Hungry.
All right. Trivia.
Trivia. Okay. Y'all kind of answered this, but we'll see if you're paying attention. Where was Tony Stark when he was captured? What country?
Afghanistan.
No, it was like Golbaria or some shit. Whatever the fuck.
Afghanistan.
He was in Afghanistan.
What was the shit? I thought Rodney said that, or somebody said like the exact place in Afghanistan. I thought.
That wasn't me.
Next question.
Maybe that was the name of the base or something. I thought it was like a part of Afghanistan or something. Never mind. I'm done here.
Next question. At the beginning of the movie, Tony Stark's being escorted by American soldiers through Afghanistan. The convoy's attacked. Tony's taken hostage. We then get a flashback to a few hours before, and Tony is being interviewed by a woman from Vanity Fair magazine. Finish the quote from this interview. Tony says, my old man had a philosophy. Peace means having a bigger stick than.
Oh, I know this too. Man, I
The
don't,
other
but I do. I remember the line and it stood out to me, but I can't remember what he said. And I've actually been blank on a lot of these answers. I was disappointed in myself to this moment. Oh my God.
it's the other guy, isn't it? Having a
Right.
bigger.
Peace means having a bigger stick than the other guy.
Yes, he's right. Yeah.
Last question. I found this one very interesting. What is Tony Stark's net worth in the movie?
Ooh.
I have no idea.
Just for kind of a reference, Bruce Wayne's net worth is $9.2 billion.
20 billion.
2.9 billion.
It's crazy because I know in the Marvel universe, like in the comics, Tony is the richest. Him and Reed Richards. So it's hard to put a number on that. I would say 15.
$12.4 billion.
Okay.
And Bruce 9.2. So he's richer than Batman.
And it just keeps on raising and raising and raising too. So just unlimited funds.
That's why I didn't know. No, I'm just playing. I had no idea.
And that trivia.
Tomatoes.
So Iron Man got a 94% critic on Rotten Tomatoes and a 91% audience. IMDb gives it a 7.9 though. So what do y'all think about
Stupid high.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's impressive.
that? Is really, really high though. That's high as shit. 94 and 91.
I'm sure they all were high as shit.
I think something going into that score is this is the start of the MCU.
Opening, yes.
Like the father or whatever. So I think people probably give it more props than it deserves because this was the start of this journey.
Yeah.
But now for personal scores, so I love this movie. I think I love everything but the final battle. So that kind of brings my score down a little bit. But I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Damn.
Yeah, I liked Iron Man, the first one. I gave it a 8.2.
Sounds like you love it.
Yeah, I loved it.
I love Iron Man. I love this movie. I love how it started everything off. Plus the callback of I am Iron Man when we get on the ladder. But dude, this is a 9.0 for me. I fucking love this movie so much. And especially like this watch, like, I don't know, this watch was like really different. And I found myself like completely immersed in this movie. So yeah, 9.0.
All right. Y'all are about to hate me.
Yeah.
For me, this movie was like not that good at all. But when I first watched it, hear me out. And then the ending was like, damn, I could have used a little more Iron Man, but I get why it's the origin story, but that's just where I was at in 2008, I guess. And then as I watched it more, it moved up to being like a really good movie. But now that I've watched it like 4 times in like 2 years or whatever I've fucking done and really embrace what it is, it started to grow. But also now I've seen it that much, I've started to notice other things where I didn't like the ending as much, where I realized like, damn, compared to other MCU movies, I don't like anybody except Iron Man. There's not a single other character I'm like, I like them. Like, I just don't care about anybody except Tony Stark in this movie. And even then, when I look at Tony Stark, he's good, but I'm like, I don't feel like he's hit that full potential of what he can be quite yet, or the version of Tony Stark that I really personally enjoy. So on this viewing, it actually fell for me quite a bit. I'll say I liked it, but it's a deep fall from y'all scores. I gave this movie a 6.2 out of 10. So Time to
Damn.
break hearts. I'm not a big Iron Man guy, but we'll see how I feel about Iron Man 2. Yeah.
I'll be surprised if it gets any better.
And that, something we haven't been doing is additional points for some reason. But I mean, I haven't had any. If y'all have any additional points y'all want to throw on this movie that we didn't talk about that you think's necessary?
Nope.
Nope.
I think we pretty much covered it. All right. But so, I'm going to jump into Iron Man 2. And that's enough for my intro. That's all we need. What we got plot wise, guys?
With the world now aware of his dual life as an armored superhero, Iron Man, billionaire inventor Tony Stark faces pressure from the government, the press, and the public to share his technology with the military. Unwilling to let go of his invention, Stark, along with Pepper Potts and James Rhodes at his side, must forge new alliances and confront powerful enemies.
Nice. I mean, that sounds like a good enough plot for an Iron Man sequel.
I definitely will watch it.
This movie is 2 hours, 4 minutes long. Came out in 2010. The budget was 200 million, and it grossed 623 million. So almost over 3 times its budget.
It's crazy how much Marvel just gets in return. My God, no wonder they can't stop making these movies. Everybody's so dumb and keep seeing them. No, I'm just playing. I felt that way at one time, though. I really did. But I get it. I get it now. I'm in the loop. Nice. All right. Well, we got awards and noms wise, Rodney. We're going to do the full spectrum this time, or, just kind of put it aside like Captain Marvel's. You don't like women. I'm just
Oh, no. We're doing
that joke.
the Academy Award nomination for visual effects again. Did not win, but did get nominated. So that's 2 MCU movies so far that have been nominated for something in the Oscars, which is a pretty big deal.
That it?
That's it.
That's it. Wow. All right. Who was everybody's favorite character?
So for me, I like Iron Man a lot less in this movie than the first one.
I can agree with that.
He falls drastically to the point where my favorite character becomes James Rhodes. I also like Don Cheadle more playing his role than Terrence Howard.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I was going to say that too. Yep, I agree with that. My favorite character, it's got to be Mickey Rourke. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't really care.
I love Mickey Rourke. He's fine in this movie, but he didn't do anything like outstanding. Kind of like Bridges didn't do anything outstanding for me either. It was just cool seeing him in this movie, in this universe.
No, I liked Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer, and I liked Scarlett Johansson actually a little bit. You get a little bit of her, and since I wasn't watching this for the first time, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep my eye out on her, just because she's beautiful and not because she's Black Widow.
I don't see
There's
it.
a lot of good characters in this movie.
Yeah, there is.
John Favreau, whatever. Happy.
Favreau.
Yeah, man, he's
Favreau.
He's living the life, dude. That man is living the life. He's in like every Marvel movie. Just
he kicked it off, man. He started the whole thing.
He's great. Love him.
Nice.
Yeah, those are my favorite characters. Everybody, basically.
Yeah, I'd have to probably go with Hammer. I think Sam Rockwell was a really, really good fit for Justin Hammer. And he played it to a T. Yeah, Sam Rockwell is very, very underrated.
Underrated as fuck.
Yeah, like top 3 type shit. But
Ben Foster.
But yeah, him, yeah, don't get me started on that.
Let's do it.
But yeah, and then I really enjoyed Pepper Potts in this movie. I liked pretty much everything every scene she was in. I was about it. I was first.
No.
Right.
There's something about Gwyneth Paltrow that I just can't.
I can't get either.
I think she had a quote. She was like saying something about how poor people eat out of Cheese Whiz cans and stuff, and I was like, "What's
Fuck
wrong
her.
with that?" I don't know. I was like, "What's wrong with eating out of Cheese Whiz
We're
cans?"
doing that right now.
But
Exactly.
she's very
There's
about
some
her.
about
Gluten-free, bitch.
she's kind of attractive and kind of not. It's just I don't
She's one of
know.
those weird girls that like aged well, but just because she aged well doesn't mean she's attractive now. You ever seen those type of girls? But like she's like really attractive and like amazing in something like Seven. But like even though she's
Yeah.
aged well, I don't like she looks good, like in terms of like how she's aged, but I don't think she looks as good when she was younger, if that makes sense. She's one of those weird ones. Yeah, for me, my favorite character is Scarjo. Yeah, like she was the shit in this movie. She came in and just put her fucking stamp immediately. She was amazing in this movie when she got into the mix. She definitely uplifted this shit because honestly, dude, in these Iron Man movies, I'm kind of just like floating along, but ScarJo gave it that like fucking like it ignited it. I was like, okay, nice. I'm feeling this. I'm like, I got a little bit more of a vibe going right now to keep me completely in tune. I dig her in this movie a lot. What about favorite scene?
My favorite scene is going to be the car racing scene. I love the shots through there, and then you get that battle, the first battle with Whiplash, which I thought was pretty intense as well.
Yeah, mine is the exact same as Josh's. Whiplash whipping them fucking cars in half and stuff, and then Happy and Pepper Potts getting in the mix. That was a great scene.
Justin Hammer. He honestly in this whole movie, like he kind of stood out to. I mean, ScarJo stood out to me a lot too because she did like Brandon said. She came in with a bang and let us know like, hey, I'm Black Widow and I'm a badass. But Hammer, he was so perfect as Justin Hammer, Sam Rockwell was. So honestly, all the scenes that involved him were just great to me.
Yeah, I got a in particular one. I love when he brings Mickey Rourke's character, the bird. I think that is great. He's like, don't get too attached to things. Let go. And I like how Mickey Rourke flips it back around on him, where he's talking about, he's like, no, we need actual people in these things. He's like, don't get too attached to things. Let go. I love how he did that with them. And honestly, I'm going to say scene wise, that some other people didn't say, that I think the opening of this movie is really good with Mickey Rourke just kind of standing in the corner and him coming over, like, to his dying, dad or whatever. Like that whole fucking scene is dope.
So much promise in that scene too.
Yeah, and then like the opening and it's cutting to him, like it's like, damn. In that moment too, like I don't dislike Mickey Rourke in this movie, but it's kind of frustrating because of somebody of his caliber. I feel like it could have been better. It's just kind of like, okay. But in that moment, it was a hype up material. Like, fuck, dude, Mickey Rourke is about to be the bad guy in this. Had me hyped. I love that opening scene. But yeah, that was one of his better moments with Rourke, him flipping it around on him. And, of course, dude, Hammer, he kills it in that scene too. And every scene he's in, he's great. Such a worthy addition. Favorite action sequence?
So mine's going to be when Tony and War Machine actually fight at Tony's house. When Tony was throwing that party and he's drunk, and then James Rhodes goes and gets the suit and they duke it out in his house. I think that was my favorite action scene.
Cool.
Yeah, mine's the end scene with all the robots or whatever,
Yeah,
and
the
then
bots and shit.
then you actually see Mickey Rourke in that souped up one, and then Iron Man and Rose can come together to fight him, and yeah, that was definitely a step up in final fight scenes from the first one.
I'm hoping Rodney does the same, man.
Yeah, so dude, it might be a short scene, but Black Widow.
Damn you.
When she comes into play in those hallways, dude, it's just like, holy shit. Dude, she murdered it. So, Brandon, I'll let you dive into
It's not even close. Because this it's not just like how the choreography was done. it's at that time when you didn't have a lot of Marvel movies out. When you saw her go up in there and fuck people up the way she did and the way it was choreographed,
Yeah.
it was like, dude, this, can we get more of this in the MCU? It's like, whatever that was, we need more of that, like technical hand-to-hand combat, the way she went about it. It's not just like, oh, we can blow shit up and like, you know, like, Hollywood fighting. It was like, wow, like they're actually doing something with this. And that is something that carried on even more specifically in the Captain America movies, I think.
Yeah.
Where they really showcase like, hey, we can do some choreography too. It might not be like your flat out like, you know, martial arts movies with your Jackie Chans and shit like that of the world, but damn, like we don't look like stiff as fuck. Like we have something here. And the impact of that to really set the tone for that was crucial to me. And also there's the funny part of it too with Happy, just like, hey, I got him. And then he sees everybody like hanging and shit. That is bar none like the best action sequence to me. It's not even close. So that would be mine. Titties.
Yeah. No, to go along with your scene that you just said, I like how Happy fought off that one guy, and then he looks down the hallway and Scarlet just murdered like 12 people.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying though. I thought you were gonna say
no, there's no
there's titties. I thought you were gonna say that.
No, I wish. I mean,
Location. So the movie's filmed primarily in California, but also they filmed a couple scenes in Monaco. And then the movie takes place in California, Malibu, takes place in New York with the press conference, and then Monaco, Russia, and then Washington, D.C.
Nice. All right. Best unimportant scene. For me, I came up with this one. Oh, yeah. Tony telling Pepper to put a mask on. That wasn't important at the time, but he told her to wear a mask at one point in the movie, you know, for sickness and all that shit. And now we look at everybody now saying, throw a fucking mask on. So I think that's kind of relevant to today's situation, whereas it wasn't then. So it's kind of interesting to watch that now. I'm trying to remember the exact scene it happened in. I think he was saying like he's working on, you know, just whatever the fuck Tony's working on. He's always fucking souping shit up and all that. And he's just basically saying like, I can't afford to get sick, that type of thing. And now we see people just strapping masks around our faces non-fucking stop. So I think that's not something that was, you know, important then, but it's kind of funny to look back on now. So I feel like it was worth mentioning. Dumbest or cringiest moment?
A lot of Mickey Rourke. I like what you said at the beginning. His action sequence at the, I guess would be Monaco, the racetrack.
Yeah.
That was incredible. But it's like they did that and the rest of the movie, he was just bad. And it was just, I don't know, like the things he would say, I'm just like, yo.
Maybe it's the accent.
Well, that's the thing though, is like, I think the accent.
He didn't do bad, but it made him sound like a fucking, like, it kind of relegated him to just like this typecast fucking like, oh, this is this character. Like it kind of felt like that. I guess
I think it was dialogue. Because the accent was good, but I think the dialogue just wasn't there. And
but that's the MCU though. But what I'm saying is like the MCU is going to do that. It's going to give you the goofy shit, but that goofy shit paired with that accent seems off and feels weird. Like if you're gonna have that accent, you need to be like almost like diabolical. You have to be insane. You have to be crazy. Somebody with that accent cracking jokes feels off and weird, even if you're nailing it, is what I would say. I don't know if you agree with that. That's kind of what I pull from it.
Yeah, I agree.
Tyler, cool.
Tyler just says he agrees. Rodney just looked at me like, I don't think that's it.
No, I don't know. I found a lot of, after that first fight scene, I just kind of found a lot of his material and his character just, I just wasn't about it.
I feel it.
It's repetitive.
I wouldn't say repetitive. I just
No,
think they had a great character that they just didn't really do anything with. Like I feel like they just kind of let him
they made him just the laughing stock rather than.
kind of, yeah, like Whiplash could be way more powerful than what he was portrayed in the movie.
I'm telling you, I think it's the goofy Marvel shit. Just doesn't flow with that accent and that.
Well, you notice how
Picture an
dark.
evil person, and it started off like he could be evil, and then they brought in like, oh, the obviously we're gonna have some goofiness. It just didn't flow with that accent. To me, that was what I felt at least. Nice. All right.
Okay.
Noise.
Noise. Goofs.
Okay, here.
Uh,
The Rolls Royce is driven against a wall several times in an attempt to stop Whiplash. However, the airbags do not deploy until after the car comes to a stop. That one, you like that one, didn't you, Rodney? Okay.
He seemed to.
When Tony mutes the video on the plane, the word mute appears on the screen slightly before Tony gives the command. Tony
I
likes
was
mute
pissed at
things.
that, honestly. I was so mad.
That one drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Another scene when Tony, he has that poison going through his neck from the arc reactor or whatever. It switches sides several times throughout the movie from his left side of his neck to the right side.
Really?
Yeah. In the end
Credit.
credits
That.
for the song Groove Holmes, writer Adam Yauch's last name is misspelled. I just think it's hilarious when they misspell these people's,
Yeah.
because they're waiting their whole lives to be in the credits of a Marvel movie and they spell your name wrong. Like, that's hilarious to me.
That would probably piss me off. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Can we at least edit this? Like, what are we doing? Like, George Lucas is changing Star Wars every second. Can you not put my name in the fucking movie right?
Yeah, that's all the goofs.
Nice. All right, deleted scenes. I gotta be the bearer of bad news here. There was no deleted scenes. Because if you're watching these movies, you have the 4K, but they never put the deleted scenes on 4K. So I had to do it's simple, but it's frustrating. It's like, fuck, I gotta pop in the Blu-ray now. Like, why can't you just put it on the 4K? Well, the deleted scenes are always on the Blu-ray. And I popped it in and I ended up doing that for no fucking reason. There was not a single deleted scene on this Blu-ray. So there is no deleted scenes for this movie. Maybe there is floating around the internet somewhere, but there was none on my Blu-ray. So we have no deleted scenes.
Brandon,
Did you hear that?
is it your dogs?
I don't have dogs, but I do
Oh.
have a question. Did the ending deliver?
For me, no, it didn't. I thought it was a very weak battle. That final battle with Whiplash, it lasted like 20, 30 seconds. Thought that was very weak. Overall, just didn't like the ending of this movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it delivered for me. It definitely took a step up from the first one, and I enjoyed the first one. It doesn't take much for me to be impressed, especially with these types of Marvel movies. So yeah, the ending did deliver for me. You could tell they're ramping it up each time, little by little.
No, it did not deliver. And I agree with Josh because this is the second time now Iron Man has had a villain and he, beats him in either a stupid way or it's just too quick. And they had already underutilized Whiplash as is. And then they couldn't even get him any kind of badass moments in that final fight. Yeah, nope, doesn't deliver for me. I was very disappointed at the end of this movie.
All right. I might surprise you on this. I think the ending did deliver. Whereas the first one, there was stuff around it that delivered. The battle actually did deliver to me, not in a major way, but I think it was way better than the first one. The actual ending with Whiplash was just about on par with the first one, but the stuff with the bots and shit too made it better to me because it was like the stuff with Whiplash was fine, but wasn't great. But the stuff with the bots did make up for it. I love like the weapons Tony used, where he was like, "Get down," and he like basically lasered everybody in half. And I love seeing what the fuck, dude? Don Cheadle's character, like the way he was just lighting people up with his like machine gun. It was better. There was more entertainment value there for me overall, not just with Whiplash, but everyone. And then it also had the ending thing. I oddly really liked it when he saved. He was like, "You still lose," and saved Pepper. And when he took her to the top of the building, and I liked their interaction where he was just full on like, "What do you mean? Like this is stress on you?" And then he immediately changed. And he's like, "Okay, yeah, no, I see that. No, I get it. No, I mean, I was gonna act like, but no, I see why you'd want to resign. That makes sense." Like I dug all that. So it had like the same beginning and end, but the middle, despite Whiplash not being as good as I'd hoped, there was at least the bot shit with it. Whereas Jeff Bridges was just like, it's not as good as I hoped, other than that, just like, did you do the freeze, account for the freeze thing? And Jeff Bridges fell. I didn't feel that battle at all. Whereas this one, I was like, yeah, just like the Jeff Bridges one, but the bot shit around it made it just enough to where I could say I enjoyed the final battle. So I will say the ending delivered here for me. And the dogs, dude, just wow.
Yeah, that wasn't my dog.
Burping up something. I know.
That was Josh.
Trying to cover for you, dude. Oh,
It's
Josh.
funny because the camera went right to him when they did it.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, yeah, I didn't do that on mine, so it'll probably be on you smiling with the big red rosy cheeks. So
No, I didn't fart. That was Josh. Josh farted.
oh. He gets super defended about it.
It wasn't me. You would know if it was.
Yeah, I have the greatest farts. No, yeah. So interesting. We're really split in different ways on a bunch of these on the ending portion. It seems like, or at least the last couple. 3-question trivia, which is what it's supposed to be. We've kind of expanded that. So what is the question trivia? What we got here, brother?
Start off kind of easy. In which city is the F1 race that Tony takes part in?
Daytona.
Spain.
You all have said the answer. I think Rodney said it.
Monaco.
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 Yeah.
What?
I didn't know it. I just said yeah because I remember somebody saying that, so I figured it had to be it.
What is the one thing Pepper Potts is allergic to?
Strawberries.
Cabbage.
Damn it. That was like the
Strawberry.
same time for me and Tyler, which I like that scene too, where he's like, "Can you move this? Like it's distracting." He's like, "See, that's
Yeah.
progress. I knew that this meant something in some way."
And then last question. Who does Stan Lee play in this movie?
Oh my god, which one is it? Fucking motherfuck. I'm trying to remember which movie.
This isn't Hugh. No, Hugh was in the first one. Who did he play in this one?
Is someone on the bus?
I don't even know if that's what I remembered, but no, that's in Captain Marvel.
Shoulder. Think of
the what?
the shoulders. Larry
I don't even
King.
remember him in this movie.
Oh,
Larry King.
Who is
I
he?
thought it was actually Larry King.
Oh yeah, he does for sure. Yes, that's Larry King, no doubt about it. Because I saw it, I was like, "Damn, that's fucking Stan Lee." He fucking plays a great Larry King here.
Knocked it out of the park.
Look just like him.
Rotten Tomato score.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 72% critic and a 71% audience. IMDb says 6.9. So
Nice.
another low one on the charts.
For Marvel, yeah.
And then if we're going into personal scores, this movie is a big step down from the first Iron Man to me personally. One big reason, which Rodney's hit on a bunch, is just the underusing of Whiplash. I don't think they think they had a lot more there that they could have done. So I'm going to give this movie a 6.8.
I agree with the underusing of Whiplash, but every time he was on screen, I was, alert and enjoyed it. I give it an 8.3, which is one more than Iron Man, the first one, at 8.2. I just thought this was a little bit better. I still give it an 8.3. Yeah.
Dang.
I like the Iron Mans, man.
This movie is not the best. I give it a 5.1. That's all I'll say about it.
Of what?
5.1.
Jeez.
Is that the lowest we've given so today?
Yeah.
So far, I was gonna say let's not reveal in general.
Well, yeah. Damn.
That's crazy. And let me come in and be controversial again. I give this a 9.5. No, I'm just playing. I just want to scare everybody. I'm gonna give this a 6.4. And this is literally the first time it's ever been better than the first Iron Man to me. And I don't even think, like, if I watch this for the first time, watch the first one for the first time, it would ever be better than the first Iron Man. But given what has came after, and given I've had more time to think about these and I was analyzing it, what I don't love or really like either of these movies. I'm not a big Iron Man fan in terms of his solo movies, I'll say. But this one, when I was like, kind of like, damn, I'm kind of like right around the same, like 6.2 to 6.5 range. I found myself looking at this like where I was like, I do like the end fight and everything in it better because of the additive of the, the bots with a Whiplash. And the biggest thing is like, I actually have side characters I enjoy here. Whereas the first one, I was like, it's Iron Man or bust, dude. Like, I don't like anybody. Here we had multiple people I enjoyed. Mickey Rourke wasn't great, but he was like the Jeff Bridges role where he wasn't bad, but he was like, it's still cool to see him on screen. So that's like a wash. But then you get Sam Rockwell, who was awesome. You get Happy in more of like an actual role. And I love him in this fucking movie. And then you get fucking ScarJo for the first time, and she's fucking killing it. There's more for me to cling on to here. Whereas the first one, I'm literally like, if it ain't Iron Man, this ain't shit. And Iron Man, I think I agree, he did take a little bit of a step behind, but all those other people gave me more to cling on to here. And whereas I don't think it's a better movie than the first one by any means, after watching these multiple times, I did like it slightly better. And I'm not a big fan of these movies to begin with. So I'll give it that 6.4. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's the first four.
Additional point, Elon Musk is in this movie. Came out 12 years ago, and he was in this movie.
I forgot he was in this movie. He weirded me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did I not even remember the scene?
Yeah, it's at the,
Yeah, he stood up and like shook his hand and shit. Like they were partners almost.
So he's working on an electric rocket. That's what Elon Musk says. That's crazy. I wonder how much he was worth back in 12 years ago. Now he's the richest man in the world.
Yeah, like it seems like a fictional character, and he's just like, no, I'm completely legit. Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So weird.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, and comment on how we suck. How y'all doing? Anyways, let us know what y'all thought. Let us know what y'all think of the first MCU movies, and stay tuned for, I don't know, more MCU movies. Love you guys. We all love you guys. Have a good time. Yeah.